Okay, welcome back. This is ScatterBreaker, Herschel Boyd. um, ScatterBreaker is really my name more for, when I break things and I'm scatterbrained. But this I'm going to try to do as straight as possible. So, um, this is going to be the next 5 of Chaos Walking. So I already talked about the first 5 out of the first 15, and then, so I'm going to get right into it. So if you are only 5 minutes late, you wouldn't need to hear this, but you would want to watch the video before, starting at about 5 minutes and 30 seconds, I believe, is when I really start getting into the actual story. On that, I don't know why it took me so long, probably because of this kind of stuff. So I'm already a minute in now, and I need to tell you about the next 5. So this is just after the altercation with Nick Jonas's character in town. He's back on his like farm or whatever. That is, Todd Hewitt is back on his farm, played by Tom Holland, and he's just thinking. And of course, anytime he thinks, I'll say it like he says thinks, or he says he's because he's actually saying it out loud, but his mind is actually what's saying it out loud. Anyway, so he thinks about being stuck on the ridge, nowhere else to go, etc. And then one man talks to him about where he's been. Like, you get lost, son, and talking about the work that needs to be done. And Todd replies like, I was getting that pork that you asked for. I'm not sure if he said pork or not. I wasn't really clear on that, but getting something that he asked for, basically. What he was out in the woods with the dog to do or whatever. So, and then he's like sitting at the table, like complain thinking about how often he eats beets. So it's kind of funny. And Todd's father figure, and I'm calling him this because he's the one that calls him son too, like in a more affectionate way. He says, "How was your day, son?" And thought images come out of basically around Todd Hewitt's head, of the mayor manifesting, where he's like complimenting him on the clever use of the snake projection, and about you'll be riding with the spider patrol before long. I'm not sure if he's a spider or what, but anyway, some kind of patrol before long. And then there's the 2 men in the room, like the father figure and then more of an uncle figure, who is probably the one who asked me if he'd gotten lost. I'd lost video at this point. Like, usually when I leave the theater, I put on my video so that I can catch up later with what it was. And here you can see that so I just have audio from then on, basically, for a while. Well, for this whole segment anyway. And so after he sees that projection of like the mayor saying all that, how clever he was and all that, like his father figure says, "The mayor's not your friend, son." And then Tom thinks or says, the mayor thinks I'm a man. He thinks I'm smart." And his uncle responds, I believe it's his uncle that's responding, with, "Mayor can take care of you then, like, get your clothes, raise you and all that stuff." So he's basically like just kind of like angry that it's disrespecting his father figure, I think. And then an argument erupts between those 3 men, or the 2 men and the young man, Todd. And then it cuts to a flashback. This is actually where I did actually leave, so I don't totally know exactly what's happening, but I have to guess from the audio, since there's still no video on there. Of a flashback where the mayor's giving Todd his knife that he said, "Oh, I love this knife," earlier. for his birthday as a child, and telling him how he needs to take control of things, and Todd says says or thinks, I'm not sure, by killing them, and the mayor's like, that's all right, that's all right, and he goes on about how he wasn't born into the noise like more men like him, and so it kind of shows that he was, at a young age he was like influencing Todd, and then I'm pretty sure it cuts back to the present day, and maybe the uncle saying, that son of a bitch has his claws in him, and and then this is about 6 minutes and 25 seconds, or about 7 minutes into the film, somewhere in there. And it's then it comes to space. I'm not sure if it's all, if there's a big scene there or not. I missed the very beginning of this, but I came into it, I know, during this, where they're in the spaceship and they're talking about re-entry, how no communication with the surface. And when they enter, it's going to be like so many, thousands of degrees or whatever. And somebody says, if you think there's anybody alive still down there or whatever, and they said, if any settlers still alive down there, they'll be happy to see us. They were expecting a second wave years ago. So I'm pretty sure that's a second wave, not totally, but anyway, we get the idea. But it sounds like it's an exciting time, and actually, I would just recommend at this point that you are in the theater for this. About 7.5 minutes into the movie, make sure you're in the theater for this up until about 10. I'll still tell you what happens in this time in case you're like just running late, like totally 15 minutes late or whatever, 10 minutes late. But yeah, I would recommend being here for this segment. Sure, but this one maybe you should try to be there for, and if not, if you can be, then look for the TTYL later, the time to take your leave, where you can leave and I can tell you what happens during that. But basically, like, they're doing the reentry. It's exciting, like there's the sound. I imagine that it's really great to be in the theater for that sound, and I think I came into it and realized, oh man, I'm missing this. But anyway, as they're re-entering, like some of the men's thoughts start to manifest, like they are on this planet, and they're like panicking, like, oh, we're gonna die, and, like, and the girl's asking, what did you say? And he says, I didn't say anything. They don't realize that, like, the thoughts of the men are actually starting to manifest in projection or whatever. And then 1 minute later, like the scene takes, a minute of, like, very loud, like, be in the theater kind of like situation, and then it's just silence. And then about 8 minutes and 30 to 9 minutes, like, it cuts to Todd and his, I'm assuming, father and uncle working on something, and it seems like Todd kind of like at 10 minutes and 14 seconds or so, Todd is going to see about getting probably 10:30. See about getting something probably out of the barn, actually, and he sees a figure orange, and I know this because he thinks out loud, like, orange, like, oh, orange, and my video is still down at this point, so I just have the audio to go by. But I would say try to catch this whole scene, and like up until he chases the figure into the woods and back to where apparently the ship is, and then he's got like this thinking, who's flying the ship, blah blah blah, like, and then saying out loud, who's there, and that kind of stuff. So basically that is going to lead up into the scene we saw in the preview that we know is going to happen anyway, like where he's talking to her and thinking to her, and she's realizing that she can hear his thoughts and all that. We see that in the preview. So anyway, but yeah, I would say try to be in there like from 7 minutes and 30 seconds until about 11 minutes and 30 seconds to 12 minutes into the movie to catch that whole scene if you can. So I should probably put that in before me actually talking about that, but I sort of did, I guess. So anyway, I'll stop now, and then I'm going to be doing the next 5, the last 5 of the first 15, in hopefully. Talk to you later.